Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are back in the fixed setup Toyota GR86 for Okayama short and another track guide. Now, if you're new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap, a breakdown, then we are back in the cockpit one final time, the driving line on the track conditions, and the track temps are shown in the bottom left hand side of the screen, so you don't need to ask me about that. And brake bias is fixed, so you don't need to ask about that either, but anything else, just let me know. Right, let's start the hot lap. Smashing it down the main strength. We're going to start braking just before the blue cone, and we're going to brake briefly up to about 75-80% down second gear, cut in the corner, back on the gas nice and early. Now we're going to start braking once we get alongside the green thing on the right hand side there. I drop it down to first because I hadn't quite got the rotation, but you can do it in second if your car is rotating for you. Absolutely flat out as we go through turn 3. Track map's got no idea where we are. We're going to turn in at the 50, then go on the brakes to about 65%. Quick trail off, back on the gas in first, head over to the left-hand side, up to second. Now, big lift, lightly on the brakes, back on the gas in first, exit nice and wide. We're going to take turn 6 absolutely flat out. Don't cross that yellow line with your right hand tyre. And now at the start of the grass, we're going to brake to about 70%, trail it off, back on the gas in second, cut in the corner and exiting nice and wide. This is using the fixed setup. I have used 12 litres of fuel at the end of this, and the track state is clean. We have the breakdown lap coming up next. Okay, let's go through this breakdown lap. So our first braking marker, I'm going to stop it here so you can see the blue cone on the right hand side of the screen. And on the left hand side, don't know if you can see above this wall, there is a fire extinguisher. That's what we call it in the UK. Don't know if you have some sort of strange name for it anywhere else. But once we are just past the fire extinguisher and before the blue cone, that is when we are going to start braking. So you can see the fire extinguisher has now disappeared out of that. We've got the blue cone coming up, and immediately we get on the brakes. And I hit a peak of 78%. So somewhere between about 75 and 80%. I drop it down to third and then drop it down to second, and I want to get back on 100% right at the apex of the corner here. I've only got my left hand tyres on the track. The right hand ones are just over the rumble strip and just kissing this grass here, and it allows us to get on the gas nice and early without sending us off into the litter tray on the left hand side. Now for turn 2, what we're looking for is, you see on the right hand side of the track, you've got this grass, and then you've got a muddy patch, and then you have this sort of green asphalt. Now it's once we're alongside the green asphalt, maybe even actually the muddy patch, we get on the brakes, and what we're looking to do is we're initially aiming for, if you look in the distance on the far side of the track, you can see a marshal's hooked more or less in the center right of the screen. That's what I'm initially aiming for, and I'm wanting to sort of kiss this first apex but come out wide. I drop it down to second. Now this is where I realized that I wasn't getting the rotation that I needed, and I didn't want to brake any harder because I'm still trailing off, so I drop it down to first. It just gives me that additional rotation, and now I can get up to 100%. So I'm back on full throttle now, well ahead of the second apex, which I run over quite nicely, and then I go up to second gear, and it means that I can take this third apex of the little section absolutely flat, still exiting wide without costing myself any time. Now as we come into Redman Corner at the 50, we're going to start our turn in, and then as soon as I've started turning the wheel, slightly different to how I normally do it, I get on the brakes to about 65% and trail that off, drop it down to first. I wanted my left hand tyres on this rumble strip, and now I get onto 100% more or less at the apex of this corner. Going to head over to the left hand side, and as soon as I get up to second gear and I'm over to the left hand side, I'm going to start turning in, and now I do a lift and I get on the brakes only to about 10% and hold it around there, and then I get back on the gas in first gear once I'm at the apex of the corner with my right hand tyres once again over the rumble strip, but I don't get up to 100% until I'm tracked out about halfway across the track. Now we go absolutely flat through here, and it's important that we cut the corner, but we don't cut this yellow line with our right-hand tyres, because you get an off-track and a time penalty. It's a bit of a pain. And finally, our last bit of braking, once we get alongside this sort of muddy patch, so once the green asphalt's disappeared and we're alongside the muddy patch, that's when we brake final time to about 70%. Quick trail off down to second gear, and we get back onto 100% just ahead of the apex here. And then we can just exit nice and wide, pin our rears back for the line, and over and across we go in a 57.1. So that is the breakdown lap. We've got one final version coming up next with the driving line on and without me talking, so that'll be nice.